Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is June the 30th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Actually, just woke up from a nap. So far today has been pretty productive. I did some grocery shopping. I worked out. I did my walk. And yeah, like I said, I got a nap in. So I feel pretty good about like halfway through the day. It's in the afternoon right now. Sunday fun day. You know how that goes. Let's see. Last night was also very fun. I went down to Northside. I know I've just been making a habit of doing that damn near every week. Can't stop, won't stop. But yeah, no, it was a good time. It was also a nice thing, I guess, because of maybe the rain, but it was a little bit more low key. So just got to hang out with my friends. I think there was like a little like Sonic Con kind of situation come like that was at the tavern last night. I'm not 100% on what exactly it was, but it was like just like a gathering of people just cosplaying and like listening to Sonic music or something like that. So it was a pretty cool vibe. Let's see here. Is there anything else to really report? Oh yeah, food corner, of course. What some people, that's like the main reason they come here. They don't care about the news. They just want to know what I ate, which I respect that actually. I went to Bridges again, switched it up. I got chow mein, which is a dish I've gotten before, but not from them. It was a nice nostalgia moment for me because I used to get that from a food truck from work because there's like a lot of Nepali people at my job. So there would be like a food truck that would come and kind of cater to them, and of course, we could buy too. So yeah, I would say though that this chow mein that I got from Bridges is probably some of the best chow mein I've ever got. Not as spicy as the food truck one, but very good, very yummy. And then I also got a flatbread and I think that was it. Yeah, the thing was though I got a flatbread and I got a Momo pork dumplings, steamed dumplings. So the thing was though I'd ate through everything and then looked over and I was like, oh shit, I got a whole toasted naan and I didn't eat it until after. So that was a little funny. But yeah, had a good time hanging out with friends, just doing the thing that you do on the weekend. I don't want to say partying, but like hanging out with your homies. Anyway, let's see here. Is there really anything else to report? Anything else to blog about on my life? No, we're good there. Let's go ahead and do our startup, and we'll get into some news. Ooh, all right. From the Associated Press, female suicide bombers kill at least 18 in coordinated attack in Nigeria, authorities say. Female suicide bombers targeted a wedding, funeral, and a hospital in coordinated attacks in northern Nigeria that killed at least 18 people, local authorities said. The first bomber detonated during a marriage celebration in the northern town of Gwoza. Barkindo Saidu, Director General of Borno State Emergency Management Agency, told reporters. Minutes later, another blast occurred occurred near General Hospital, Saidu said, and the third bomber at a funeral service was disguised as a mourner. Children and pregnant women were among those killed. At least 30 others were wounded, and Saidu said injuries included abdominal ruptures and skull fractures. No one immediately claimed responsibility for the attacks. Borno State has been heavily affected by the insurgency launched in 2009 by the Boko Haram Islamic extremist group. In the past, Boko Haram has used women and girls in suicide bombings, prompting suspicions that some attackers come from the many thousands of people the extremists have kidnapped over the years, including school children. So sadly, this kind of becomes like a grim update from some of those school kidnappings that we've covered, months prior. That's very unfortunate that, you know, for the people, for, some of the women, some of the, the kids that don't get to get sent back home, they wind up, in this kind of situation, being forced into doing something like this. Obviously, it's very sad. It's very unfortunate. Not to mention, obviously, the people who've been killed and injured in these bombings that took place today. So that's very fucking sad and unfortunate. But I definitely wanted to, get in and talk about it a little bit. Let's see here. Authorities impose a curfew in the city. Gwoza is a few kilometers from Chibok, where 276 schoolgirls were abducted in 2014. Nearly 100 of the girls are still in captivity. So, yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the state of Nebraska, going to America. Nebraska State Patrol. 6 injured, including 3 children, in shooting before suspect dies from self-inflicted gunshot wound. A shooting in Crete, Nebraska left 6 people injured and the suspect dead on Friday evening. Nebraska State Patrol said multiple reports were called in about a shooting around 4:30. After law enforcement arrived to the residence, they found the victims suffering from gunshot wounds. 3 of the victims were children and 3 were adults. NSP said shots were heard from the residence across the street, and officers breached the home, finding the suspect suffering from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The 6 victims all suffered non-life-threatening injuries. So that's, kind of a bit of a silver lining in this dark play out. One of the victims spoke with KET TV News Watch 7. Joshua Morales believes the shooting was racially motivated. Here's a quote from Morales. He got problems with the neighborhood in front of him, which he has problems with the neighbor in front of him, which he was supposedly telling his parents to go back to their country, and they got into problems. And I guess until now, the dude just shot up the house. I guess it was just a racist thing that happened. So I guess the dude that shot them was just racist because he shot a Hispanic family and he told a Hispanic family to go back to their country. Morales said the shooter shot his friend and his friend's mom, who was shot 4 times in the back. So obviously it's very fucked up. Cowardly way to carry your fucking self. That goes without fucking saying in any of these kind of fucking situations. But yeah, like I said, I'm glad that no one was killed outside of the person who decided to take their own life for being a kind of piece of shit like this, Not that, once again, I'm advocating, doing that to yourself. But once again, I'm just glad that no one died in terms of just the victims in that regard. But I've said this before, and I'll always keep saying it as a reminder, like, going through an event like this is a thing that is going to stay with you for the remainder of your life. It's not something you get to just walk away clean from. It's not like, oh, well, time heals all wounds. Well, it's like, yeah, I my gunshot fucking scar is still here, still hurts when it rains, shit like that, like, it's still a psychological drag on your life. It's still a lot. But obviously, anything beats being dead. I always say that. At least, I'm trying to, stay optimistic like that. Anyway, let's move on to another thing. From Nebraska to Oklahoma, BBC, Oklahoma orders schools to teach Bible immediately. So I love that. We went from the Louisiana and the 10 Commandments, and now Oklahoma's like, oh no, we can top that. We can do something like that. Oklahoma's top education official has ordered schools in the state to begin incorporating the Bible into lessons, and the latest U.S. cultural flashpoint over religion in the classroom. A directive sent by Republican State Superintendent Ryan Walters said the rule was compulsory, requiring immediate and strict compliance. The rule will apply to lessons for all public students aged from around 11 to 18. And this kind of adds to the thing I've said before, just kind of once again referencing Louisiana. I'm okay if establishments that are like private, little Catholic schools or whatever, you gotta show out and keep it this way, and people want to go to the school, like they want to opt in and pay y'all, specifically send your kids here. Okay, fine. Like, I'm not really barking at them, but the idea that you want to take this logic and say, no, all the schools here have to do this. You have to have all this religious shit in front of your face. You have to pretty much be learning about it. Essentially, they're indoctrinating you. I don't see how there's any other way to look at it. Like, meanwhile, any other religion is suppressed, and in fact, if you express it, sometimes you are literally ridiculed for that, or, oh, you can't do that. Like, it just feels weird. It just feels upsetting to me. And what I mean by you can't do that in the American sense is, well, what if we were to have statues and symbols to represent other religions? Those things would get shot down. You know what I mean? So it's wild that we're at this place in 2024 where we have superintendents saying, "Hey, I want public schools to essentially just become all day Sunday schools." Like, that's just a bizarre world to me. This is some Twilight Zone shit to me. Let's see here. In a statement on Thursday, Mr. Walters described the Bible as an indispensable historical and cultural touchstone. Bro, it's a book. It's a book. Look, I respect the Bible. Like, y'all know my religious background a bit if you've hung out on the show before, whatever. But like, there's got to be limits to this kind of stuff. It's a religious piece of text. It's a piece of religious text, whatever. Like, this should not be some shit that's the DNA of our society. Like, I hate that shit. I hate that it's on dollar bills and all this kind of dumb shit. It just seems silly to me, Let's see here. Without basic knowledge of it, Oklahoma students are unable to properly contextualize the foundation of our nation, which is why Oklahoma educational standards provide for its instruction. Yeah, I think that's bullshit. Let's see here. Of course, this guy hates woke ideology and radical leftists. Y'all know the buzzwords. But I did want to kind of read a quote from Rachel Laser, which is a cool last name. Public schools are not Sunday schools. And Rachel Laser is head of Americans United for Separation of Church and State, said in a statement quoted by the AP news agency. This is textbook Christian nationalism. Walters is abusing the power of his public office to impose his religious beliefs on everyone else's children, not on our watch, she added. So, I imagine there's going to be lawsuits coming in, and they're going to have to fight this in courts. I obviously hope that Walters loses, because I don't think this should be a kind of mandate that should be in schools. This doesn't make sense. I don't have children, obviously, thank God. But I wouldn't, like, even though, like, I'm more or less okay with Christianity and all that shit, I wouldn't feel comfortable with even my hypothetical fucking child, being in a fucking classroom and being forced to learn that shit. Like, how's that gonna help him get a degree unless he's gonna become a fucking pastor or some shit? Like, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. Like, once again, if you're in a Christian school, Christian ass college, read the Bible till you're blue in the face. I don't give a shit. But, like, it just does not make sense that this is a thing that you are going to press onto kids. Meanwhile, it's like, well, you can't be gay in school because that's confusing the children. We can't talk about this shit because it's confusing the children. It's so annoying, dude. I hate what people try to do with, like, literal, like, children. It's like, this is supposed to be a place where you come to school, you learn your shit, and you play in some recess with your friends, and you go home. Like, it's crazy that people want to make this a battleground for so much other fucking shit. Like, come on. It's just supposed to be a place where you learn and grow. Not necessarily for the Lord. Anyway, I don't know. Let's go ahead and move on. I feel like I've talked about this enough. We have one more thing I wanted to cover, and then I'll let you go for the day. Whoop. But you know what that means. It is break time. Last break for the day. Oh, yeah. All right. Our last article comes from The Verge. Redbox's owner files for bankruptcy after repeatedly missing payments and payroll. Redbox owner Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment filed for bankruptcy protection overnight. This comes at the tail end of a month in which the DVD rental company defaulted on loans, saw an order for its cars to be repossessed, and missed payroll for its employees. Now, I don't know about you, but I just now learned about this whole Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment owning Redbox. I didn't know that shit. And maybe, people around my age or older, that Chicken Soup for the Soul, like that rings a bell, right? Like, so they're the same motherfuckers, I guess, who made the books. The little self enrichment, self help. I don't know if they were self help. To be real with you, I never read them motherfuckers. But I guess they were supposed to like inspire you or make you feel better, or it's like feel good kind of tales from a book. And they made like a bunch of them. But I guess they flipped this into a whole ass empire, which makes sense. And they wanted to move into the DVD business, baby. And it just hasn't been working out for them. It seems like they've been getting their ass kicked. Yeah, it seems like, the rooster has come to collect. That's probably the wrong phrasing for that, but whatever. It was wrong with me. You know what I'm talking about. Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment informed employees of the filing late Friday, writing in an email seen by The Verge that it had filed for a debtor in possession loan, a way for companies that are reorganizing after filing for bankruptcy to secure additional working capital to meet payroll. So definitely they need that, because I don't know, as a person who works, that is always, I guess, a fear in the back of my brain, is that like, what would happen if like, company falls on hard times and you wake up one day and you're just not getting paid? Like, I've been blessed that every job I've worked, that's never happened, but I've heard, definitely stories of that, whether it's like, oh, well, no, payroll just fucked up, it's a little issue or whatever. But like, what happens if it's not just an issue? What happens if like, no, we're behind, we're actually in too much debt, there's actually no money? So yeah, that would be a shame to be working for literally nothing. Obviously that's a big problem. You can't have that, not in this economy. But let's see here. I know there's more trouble here. Go ahead and press ahead. It's a pressing matter for the company, as employees have been waiting for paychecks since June 21st. The company also promised to reinstate health insurance for its employees. Another issue that's very important when it comes to having a job is like, I need my health insurance that it provides. So you're saying I'm not even getting paid, I also don't have health insurance. What happens to me? I'm gonna die broke, and my family is gonna be in poverty. Fuck this. And that's been gone since May. So definitely a pretty grim situation for Redbox. Maybe most people aren't surprised to hear this news. I guess I'm not either. Like, I haven't used Redbox in a very, very, very long time. Maybe about a year or so ago is maybe the last time I did, just to like check a movie I might have missed. Though I still like its existence, because I'm not a big movie guy these days in terms of like going out and see many movies. And that's a really cheap way to just go and say, hey, I just want to see this movie real quick. And like, yeah, you can like, well, you don't even have to leave your house, Isaiah, but like, it's still cheaper to go to Redbox, unless times have really, really changed. I mean, unless Biden inflation's really been kicking Redbox's ass. I'm sure it's still cheaper to just go get a DVD or two from Redbox than like, let's say, using Amazon or even Google Video or whatever the fuck. Because I know they'd be charging like $5 or $6, to rent some shit. I'm like, oh, come on now, be for real. Unless it's like a super like new movie that's like still in theaters, or maybe not even barely out of it. Because I'm like, that's still like, I don't want to pay more than $5. Feels excessive. But that's just me. Maybe I'm just being cheap. Let me read a little further. I know I'm just kind of waxing. Chicken Soup took on $325 million debt when it acquired Redbox in 2022. And it has been sued over a dozen times over unpaid bills. They really are just skipping out on the check. The company recently settled one of those lawsuits with NBC Universal, but promptly missed the first agreed upon payment, lending to a court order to pay the entire $16.7 million balance. Although Chicken Soup has $970 million in debt, according to the bankruptcy filing. So definitely hard times for Redbox. Maybe this is the end. So I don't know. Smoke them while you got them. Watch them while you have them. I don't know. Be kind. Please rewind. No, I wish. Those are the real good old days. But yeah, that's it. That's all I really have for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.